everyone. I'm Shoily Banerjee.
I'm Vanessa Belk.
I'm Alyssa Huang.
I'm Anthony Zhang.
And I'm Kavika Kapoor. And our project is called the Moasis.
Our idea is to study
the behavior of a certain bacteria on Mars' surface. In order to save time, energy, and money, the bacteria's effects will be applied to a designated network of contained areas only. If these experiments yield the expected results, they will initiate the construction of human civilization on Mars. It is important to note that we are continuing a study previously conducted by a team of MIT students.
Okay, so here on Earth, we're becoming more and more overpopulated and we're running out of resources. So we look to our neighbor, Mars. We plan to build a small research facility on Mars to use bacteria to produce oxygen and water and create a livable environment for future humans.
During the 6-month-long journey to Mars, our team of multi-disciplinary scientists, which include biologists, engineers, medics, physicists, therapists, architects, and psychiatrists, will be put under a cryogenic sleep. When they arrive on Mars, they will remain there to study the effects of the bacteria on Mars, as well as the effects of being isolated from Earth. There will be communication towers built on Earth and Mars to streamline communication and also decrease homesickness. And once the team decides that the research is sufficient enough, this could open up possibilities for human life to people living on Mars.
Okay, so why Mars? Well, Mars is the closest and most viable planet in our proximity, and the atmosphere of Mars is comprised of carbon dioxide, nitrogen, argon, and traces of water vapor and other gases, which we can't breathe, unfortunately. So that's what our bacteria is for, to make the carbon dioxide and other materials into oxygen. The temperature of the surface of Mars averages at about negative 55 degrees Celsius, but the equator is hotter at 20 degrees Celsius. Temperature varies throughout Mars, so the research center will be located on the equator for its highest temperatures. The ground is also mostly comprised of volcanic basalt remnants. Nutrients exist in the crust, including sodium, potassium, and magnesium. These are all beneficial for human life. However, there exist various chlorates in the soil, which could potentially be harmful to bacteria living on Mars. Our way to neutralize this potential problem is to keep the bacteria in enclosed, sterilized spaces.
Okay, so our precedents, I'd like to thank my sister, Gillian, for helping me research bacteria and kind of helping me understand all of the scientific jargon that all of the research articles are. And we have a couple other inspirations, such as the book The Martian and Biosphere 2, which was a project done on Earth that isolated a group of scientists in different areas and for 2 years. Another one of our inspirations was the movie that we saw when we went to visit the Science Center, which was about outer space. And our last inspiration was Project Redwood, which we're kind of continuing, and it was the project done by the group of MIT students.
So we propose that a rocket with a team of various scientists and all the needed materials will be launched to Mars. The bacteria will be preserved in a terrarium on the rocket. When it lands, construction of the facility will begin. The scientists will have plenty of supplies through pre-transported supply capsules, and once construction of the center is complete, the scientists shall introduce the iron-oxidizing bacteria, Thiobacillus ferrooxidans, to the inside of the facility, in which they will produce oxygen. The scientists shall live, study, and research there, and supply capsules will be sent throughout their stay.
Okay, so I'm going to use a bunch of big scientific words, but iron-oxidizing bacteria, other known as Thiobacillus ferrooxidans, is a gram-negative class of proteobacteria, which means that their cell walls are made up of a substance called peptidoglycan, and basically if we place them on Mars' surface and it works, then it will consume the iron oxide and produce oxygen in an anaerobic environment, which means there's no air. But once there's oxygen in their environment, they'll produce the reverse reaction and they'll actually start producing water, which might be very helpful to creating a livable space.
So the research facility on Mars will be basically a pentagon with geodesic domes on each point and a big research center in the center of the pentagon. The innermost layer of the dome will be made out of plexiglass, and then the next layer will be made out of aluminous silica, and the outermost layer out of fused silica. And this will allow to keep a sustained barrier between the outside environment of Mars and the inside environment of the dome. And the bacteria will live in the layers of the fused dome and will allow the process to happen insulated.
So with our proposal, we have a rough timeline, assuming that we were to start research right away, tomorrow. So we would research until around 2030, and we would be building prototypes, all of this on Earth, until 2045. So then our hopeful first mission would be in 2055. And if that was successful, we would send more facilities in 2063. And hopefully, maybe, we would have a facility that is fully functional and mostly independently running by 2075.
To sum up our research, we propose to perform tests on the iron oxidizing bacteria on Earth as preparation for Mars. Once our research on Earth is complete, we will send the bacteria along with a team of various types of scientists to Mars. Once on Mars, the facility will be constructed and experiments on the bacteria to break down iron oxide to generate water and oxygen will be carried out. This project was formulated in hopes that Mars will someday be inhabited by humans.
So, what if the bacteria doesn't work? What if it's too costly? What if? But the issue is that Earth is constantly being trashed. The apathy we have towards Mother Earth has led to radical disruptions in our biosphere by endangering thousands of species, including our own lives, and changing our climate. The list goes on. The rich and biodiverse Earth that we have known may soon become arid like Mars if we don't take action now. Terraforming Mars is not to encourage pollution on Earth or ignore our dying environment. It's to expand our horizons and display the extensive time it could take for us to try and fix Earth if we don't become conscious and have compassion towards our environment.
So we created a website to house all our extra info, and there's also an installation outside and a video, which I will now play.
Okay, so if you take a look at our stop motion, that's basically what we envision for Mars, the first step in traveling there. And this is just one sample of a geodesic dome. There's going to be a pentagon like we had discussed. But thank you and goodbye.
Bye. Bye, guys.
Thank you.